Rand Paul decided to filibuster the renewal of the Patriot Act, something that I 100% support him in doing. And I'm of the belief that if you're a true progressive or a true liberal Democrat, you also should support him. I'm actually kind of angry that I didn't see a huge outpouring of support from progressives when Rand Paul did this, and I think that would make sense, and I think they should have done that. And let's just say if you disagree with Rand Paul, Peter King agrees with you. So Peter King, a Republican congressman from New York, came out for the 12th time or 13th time here, swinging in favor of NSA spying. Let's watch.
So if he wants, he could go a while. What do you think?
I strongly disagree with Rand Paul. I think the NSA is essential. I think that the NSA, first of all, I know they're not listening to anyone's phone calls or reading anyone's emails. What they do is they store collections of phone numbers. And so if we find out that an American has been speaking to a terrorist overseas, then the Justice Department goes to court to get a court order. The fact is that the NSA listens to no one's at all. They just collect this information. It's essential to our security. I think Rand Paul is wrong. I agree with Mitch McConnell. I think the law should have been extended as it is. I voted for the bill in the House because that's the only one we could get through. But I think Senator Paul is doing a disservice to the country when he makes these charges. He's making the CIA and the NSA the enemy. The fact is the enemy is Al-Qaeda, and we are not sacrificing any liberty.
Right. So the House passed the USA Freedom Act overwhelmingly by a margin of 338 to 88 last week. But, Congressman, you know, there are a lot of people who are watching right now, and people in America in general, who agree with Rand Paul. They think that the NSA went too far. What would you say to them?
I totally disagree. The NSA, I've been on the Intelligence Committee. I monitor the NSA. They do nothing without getting court approval, without reporting to the Intelligence Committee, and there are more safeguards in place with the NSA than anyone could believe. And the fact is, it's Rand Paul who spreads this type of misinformation and spreads fear. He's really doing a disservice, the same the way he did when he filibustered the last time and said he was worried about the CIA killing Americans drinking coffee in Starbucks with drones. I mean, now this is wrong, and that's why I strongly oppose Rand Paul and his ideology and philosophy.
My favorite part is when he accuses Rand Paul of spreading fear. Dude, you're the one that spreads fear nonstop, and that's what you use as your justification to have the NSA continue to spy on us, even as you say, they're not spying on us, but they need to continue to spy on us. You're the one that's selling fear. Dude, you just said the enemy is Al-Qaeda, not the NSA. And think about how silly that line of thinking is. So we can't criticize the NSA because Al-Qaeda exists. We know Al-Qaeda exists. We're all against Al-Qaeda. We can agree on that. But that doesn't mean that we can't go through all of the actions of the NSA and say, okay, they can do this, this, and this, but they can't do that and that. That's going too far. Look at this black and white kind of thinking that comes out of Peter King. And also, he said at the beginning that he's so concerned about Americans who, you know, may be in contact with terrorists overseas, and this is why we need the NSA in place. Peter, by that criteria, they would be looking into you. This guy, for those of you who don't know, this guy had connections and was on the record as supporting terrorists in Ireland. Remember when there was the religious war going on in Ireland? Yeah, he had some love for some terrorists. So this idea of, like, it's always the other guy. With Peter King, he's the embodiment of this ideology. He's always fear-mongering about Muslim terror, Muslim terror, Muslim terror. He had a hearing where he only focused on where it was supposed to be about terrorism in America, and he only spoke about Muslim terrorism. Didn't bring up in any way, shape, or form all the other various kinds of terrorism that are actually more prevalent in the United States of America. It is true that overseas, especially in the Middle East, and especially in probably most places, that Muslim terror is more prevalent. But in the United States, no, the main thing you should be concerned about is sovereign citizens is number one, and we've detailed that for you guys. The Department of Homeland Security agrees. The KKK is another. In northern Florida recently, a neo-Nazi cell was broken up, but Steve King has nothing to say about that because he thinks it's only the Muslims, and he thinks that when the NSA is spying, well, it's obviously always on the other guy. It's not on me, even though I was literally in contact with terrorists from Ireland. It's this version of the world that's, I know that I'm a good guy and I know they won't spy on me, even though, Peter, they probably have spied on you. There was the story a while back that broke from the Edward Snowden leaks, The NSA was spying on Congress. Dude, they were spying on you, and they probably are spying on you. And another great part, he said, I know they're not listening to anyone's phone calls or emails. Were you not here for the past, 2 years? Do you not remember any of the Snowden leaks? Not only are they listening to those things, they're abusing the fuck out of it. An NSA audit found nearly 3,000 violations in a single year. They had an entire program called Love Int. It was short for Love Intelligence, where NSA officials would spy on their ex-boyfriends and girlfriends. How can you possibly say that I know they're not listening to anyone's phone calls or emails? Only a ridiculous human being would say something like that. And finally, he said, well, what everybody needs to understand is that they do nothing without court approval. This is so incredibly misleading, it's hard to even put into words, because what's he referring to there? He's referring to the FISA courts. Other leaks have showed us that when it comes to the FISA courts, there's no real oversight. It's a fucking rubber stamp. It's not a truly objective body where they're actually looking at evidence and going, okay, I think you can spy on that person because you've shown me that, they have a bad history and maybe they're involved in some criminal activity. No, the FISA court approves well over 95% of everything that comes in front of them. And then also, by the way, I don't even believe that everything goes through the FISA court. Now, when things do go through the FISA court, again, it's a rubber stamp. They're not really doing oversight, so that's irrelevant. It's still a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. But I guarantee you they blow off the FISA court in many cases, or else how could a program like Love Int exist in the first place? It couldn't exist without just totally bypassing a court. All these NSA officials, they have access to do whatever the fuck they want at any time. The facade of having a process in place doesn't mean there's actually a process in place. And again, don't listen to me on this. Go listen to Edward Snowden, who's been talking about this from day one. If you're a real NSA official, you have the world at your fingertips. You can look at whatever the fuck you want to look at, and there's really no serious oversight to stop you from abusing it. So, Peter King, you're dead wrong. Rand Paul, you're 100% right. And, hey, Democrats, where the fuck are you? If this was under the Bush administration, all of you would be down there standing up against the Patriot Act. But now that it's under Obama, all of a sudden you got to leave it to Rand Paul to stand up and do it? You're fucking pathetic. Everybody should fall in line here and stand up for the right thing, which is getting rid of the Patriot Act, because it is a brazen violation of our constitutional rights.